Do you hate writing long programs? Are you tired of pre-declaring the variables just to avoid undeclared type errors while execution? Then fear not, the Python programming language is for you. Greetings to everyone. Myself Sachin, and I am currently pursuing my third year PE Computer Science in VEC, short for Valamol Engineering College. I am a member of the team displayed here, and we are all eager to teach you this course. Without further ado, let's begin the session. Yeah, the course, as you all know, is Python. Why Python, you may wonder? Is it associated with some snakes or something? The answer is not like that. In a few moments, I will be telling what is the reason behind choosing the name Python. You may wonder why to choose Python out of all the programming languages. You may be aware of Java, C++, C, Ruby on Rails, C Sharp, etc. But why Python? Because there are quite a number of reasons behind to learn Python. Because it's an object-oriented language and also it's very easy to use and learn. As a beginner, it's the best language you can opt for. Without further ado, let's begin the session, shall we? So, I have divided the session into 5 main parts. It goes like this: the Python background, why Python, features of Python, the applications, and refresh. In each section, I will be explaining it with examples and interactive sessions so that it will be fun to learn. So, the Python background will be first focusing on how the Python name came and who was the founder and how it progressed through the ages. Then we'll be learning why to choose Python and what are the features in the next, and there is some real-time applications that we are using without our knowledge. Then the last section is the refresh section. Why is that, you may ask? Whenever the human psychology is such that whatever you learn in a long session, the one that is learned in the last few minutes will be the one that is fresh in our mind. The content that have been discussed in the first few moments will be lost, or like it will be difficult to remember. So I will be keeping this refresh section in each video so that you can thoroughly recollect the concepts that are the examples or the content that is being discussed in the entire session. Okay, fine. Next. Yeah. Yeah, now we will be saying about the Python background. Background in the sense, we will be talking about how the Python name came, in which era it came, who founded Python, and how it reached among the masses. I'll be showing a set of video now and explain it how it came and the backdrop of how the Python emerged as a champion among all programming languages. Python was conceptualized by a man named Theodore Van Rossum in the late 1980s as a successor to the ABC programming language, another programming language created at Van Rossum workplace. The CWI International Research Institute for Scientific Research in the Netherlands, much like ABC Python, wasn't aimed at systems programming and was designed to be easy to learn. But unlike ABC Python, included support for exception handling and was originally targeted at the mobile. Python lives on. Van Rossum started the actual implementation of Python over the Christmas holidays in 1989. It wasn't actually named after the snake by the way it was named. It was named after the British TV show Monty Python's Flying Circus. He continued working on it privately until February of 1991 when the first version 0.9.0 was released. Python included many features of the language like classes, functions, and data types such as lists, dictionaries, and strings. In addition to the aforementioned exception handling version, 1.0 of Python came about in January 1994. One of the most notable new features was increased support for the functional style of programming with tools such as lambda, map, filter, and reduce. Interesting to know these new features weren't actually developed by Van Rossum and instead were developed by Alice Packer, who missed them and submitted working patches. While working at the CNRL, Von Rossum launched an initiative to make programming more accessible to the masses called Computer Programming for Everyone. Python was the perfect language for Van Rossum to use for promoting computer programming accessibility because the language is easy to learn and concise. It was also more high level than many of the other programming languages during the 90s, meaning users don't need to know as much about computers to get work done. With it, today computer programming for everyone is no longer an active initiative, but that does not mean that Python is not one of the most popular programming languages for beginners to learn. And most certainly is very popular as a first programming language, and this can be still attributed to the same facts that made it so attractive to new programmers during the 1990s. Actually, there were two versions of Python simultaneously developed. Python 1.6 by CNRI and version 2.0 was being developed at the OpenCom. The most significant and important change with 2.0 wasn't about the code or language itself, but the way it was developed. Up until this point, Python was developed in a relatively closed fashion, with 2.0 Python became more like a standard open source project that would have a life after Gradle. Python was moved to SourceForge, granting serious access to more people and providing an easy way to submit patches and bugs in Python. The next major revision to Python was Python 3.0, sometimes called Python 3000. It wasn't backwards compatible with 2.0. Instead, Python 3.0 opted to focus on removing duplicate of constructs and modules, stating that there should be one and only one obvious way of doing things. Version 3.0 was released in December of 2008. The Python developers knew that not everyone would be ready to switch to Python 3 right away and continued working on Python. Python 2.6 was released along with Python 3.0 and Python 2.7 with Python 3.1. Now, Python 2 is no longer receiving major updates. Users are encouraged to move to Python 3 and support for Python 2.7 will end in 2020. So that's the story of Python. It's come so far from where it started and still developing Python. There's a huge struggle with the 2020 deadline for 2.7 quickly approaching and still so many code bases not compatible with Python 3. However, I think the language will be able to push through this tough period. What do you think? Since we have seen the backdrop of Python and how it came into existence, now we'll see why to choose Python among all programming languages and why it's so useful. Okay? Fine. Now then, the Python's nature we'll be talking about now. Okay? Python's nature is such that it has no complex keywords or syntax or stringent syntax to be exact. Some languages like C will have a prerequisite like we have to always declare the variables before using it. But in Python, it's not like that. We can dynamically type the variable, and depending on the input given by the user, it will be automatically detecting the data type of the variable that we use in the program. So that's the meaning of that. Secondly, it's user friendly and it's an interactive language. Why do we call so? User friendly in sense it will be like appealing to most of the masses. Like whenever we speak in some technical jargons, some layman cannot understand. But this Python is designed in such a way that even a layman can code effectively. So that's why it's user friendly. And the key concept behind is that even though this follows the OOPS principles, it's easy. When you take a typical OOPS based language like Java, it's so difficult to understand Java compared to Python. I'm not saying it's difficult, but compared to Python, Java is a little bit difficult to understand the OOPS concept. But in spite of being this, Python is so simple and efficient. This allows us to create more complex objects in a less time and in a user-friendly way. These are the major nature that is found in Python language. Okay, fine. The next one is about the Python features. The one of the main features is that it's a portable language. What meant by portability? My fellow teammate will be talking about the IDEs in the forthcoming sessions. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Just remember it. There are quite a few IDEs to name, which run Python language. But different IDEs may have different compilers too. But Python is defined in such a way that it doesn't have any issue in executing. So it's a portable language. And Python, what differentiates it from most of the languages is that it's an interpreter. It uses an interpreter instead of compiler. In C++, it uses compiler. The difference between a compiler and an interpreter is that, for example, if I write a code in about 2 pages, a compiler executes the entire 2 pages code, and then it will be popping me the errors in which line number and where and all I got the errors, and where and all I have misplaced the syntax or false indentation, etc. Compiler, in one go, it will be listing all the errors found in the program. Whereas in the interpreter, it's not like that. It will be starting from the first line that we wrote the code from. Then it will be executing and checking each and every line. Whenever it encounters a line with error, it immediately stops its execution and it pops up saying that there's an error in this line alone. Note, it will not finish till the end and display all the errors found in the program. The moment it encounters an error, it will immediately pop that error. Until we solve that error, it will not move to the next line and it will be staying like that. So Python uses an interpreter instead of compiler. Next thing is, it has a large standard library, meaning it has a lot of inbuilt functions that can be just called. For example, you all will be knowing about recursion, right? A function calling itself is called as recursion. So for example, there are some problems like find whether a number is odd or even. We will be using a for loop for checking each and every number and whether it's divisible by 2 or not, and display the output accordingly. But instead, in Python, there will be like inbuilt functions to check whether it's even or not just by a single keyword. For example, is even or is odd can be used as a keyword so that we no need to type the code by ourselves. It will have inbuilt keywords to the commonly used functions. Yeah, so it has a large standard library. As you can see, there are many features, but I can just explain these three now. The other features you will be understanding more and more in the forthcoming sessions. Okay, fine. Now, the applications of Python. There are many applications that use the Python as the founding language or the base language. These are so common in our life that we are using it without our knowledge. Some of them are listed below. As you can see, the Google browser, YouTube, Bitly, Quora, Reddit, Insta, and Spotify are some of the common or easily found examples of Python. And I will be showing a set of videos now so that you can know what and all these and how these sites are using Python and what are the functions that each and every app are specifically doing. Okay, and the inbuilt functionality using Python will be explained in later videos. As you can see, this game is a primary example of how the object-oriented programming languages are made use of. For example, the entire target is considered as a single object, and the scope as one image, and the bullet trajectory all will be considered as an object in programming languages. Since every real-time word are represented as an entity, it can be easily programmed. Else, if we take procedural programming language like C, it will be very difficult to implement these as such. So this is an example of a game where the Python programming language is used. This game goes by the name of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Everything that you see in this game, ranging from the sea to the land to the eagle to the character, was made by using the object-oriented principles. This was supported by the Python programming language, and the remaining were made by proprietary software by Ubisoft. Each game has a separate engine and they did the remaining by using that engine and parts of it by the Python programming language. So, one of the applications of Python is the Google search engine. Google is a browser by which we can search for web pages and get the results accordingly. Many of you may wonder in what programming language this was used. Like, what programming language was used to create this Google search engine? To them, my answer is Python language. So Google used Python because it was efficient and also easy to use and doesn't require a complex understanding of the special of the features involved in it. So they made use of this to do the Google search engine. And another application, I'll just switch the tab. So it's Quora. Quora is just a question and answer forum where you can post your questions, and anybody who is a member of Quora or any public using the Gmail account can give a reply to a question. Most of the uh, most of the questions are divided into certain categories so that you can make use of it efficiently. Quora is more of just a question and answer forum, but this also is made by using only Python language. So we'll go to the next one. So this is a Reddit. This is also similar to Quora, but this is not restricted by only the question and answer. This can also be used as a forum. Like you can also use it as a blog. For example, if you are taking like how they are creating the Japanese anime, there will be an entire page in Reddit to discussing the same. Whereas in Quora, it will be like someone would have posted a question and someone would have posted the answer. But here it will be like a group of team working and telling the answer in the form of page. So this is the Reddit. Then we'll be going to a popular social platform, Instagram. Many of you will be knowing this platform, but this was also done only by using Python programming language. So these are the pages. Since I'm following them, these are the posts that are coming, and these are all examples of Python. Yeah, this is one of the major releases by Google called as YouTube. Nowadays, we can't imagine a life without using YouTube. The take it educational videos and other new tech that we come about can be learned by using YouTube. As you can see, there are many classifications and divisions in YouTube and subscriptions where we get the notification for the channels that we liked. Yeah, since this also was made only by using the Python programming language. All these are very good examples where the Python showcases its beauty, and we can come to know that how rich is the Python language and what's the potential of a Python in creating these kinds of products. And one more thing I would like to add is that Python is the official language of Google. About 75 to 80% of the applications and software released by Google is being made only by using Python. Application where we are going to see is Spotify. Spotify is a musical app where we can see our music list and playlist and play accordingly. This also uses Python. So, as of now, we have seen all the Python applications that are used in the real world that are professionally useful to us. Like professional in the sense in the social life and everything. Yeah, guys, we have come to the final division of the session, the refresh time. As you all know, the last thing that I showed will be the one that will be fresh in your memory. Now, to jog your memory so that I will finish the session. So, we will begin from step first. First, I have told you about the scenario and the backdrop of Python, how the Python got its name, the founder of Python, how it progressed through the ages, and what were the initiatives to market the Python programming language. Then I talked about why to choose Python among all other languages. Why is it? I talked about the how user friendly and how the not a stringent syntax followed by Python and how the OOPS principles are followed by the Python. All these are some of the major specialities associated with Python that makes it unique compared to other languages. The next one is the features. I listed quite a few features, right? Out of it, I would have discussed about three features. The remaining features I would have told like we will be covering the forthcoming sessions, which we will do, don't worry. We talked about the most important feature is that the interpreter that Python uses and not a compiler. The difference between an interpreter and compiler is that compiler executes the entire program, uh, that is the code, and spots out all the errors that is found in the program. Whereas in the interpreter, it executes and finds out whether the line has error or not, line by line. And if it encounters an error in a line, it stops the execution. And unless and until we solve that error, it will not proceed. That's the one thing. Then it has a lot Python as a large standard library. That is, it has a lot of keywords so that we can incorporate a lot of things in a much less time. Then it's also a open source and it's a portable language. Why is that? Because there are a lot of IDEs. That is, I told you to remember this term IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay, fine. There are a lot of IDEs for Python, of which Python is more portable so that it has no issue running in any system or any IDE whatsoever. And finally, we came to the Python applications, which will be fresh in your mind, I think. Yeah, many applications. We saw many applications like Google, YouTube, and some realistic games that came. For example, I forgot to include this. The Battlefield 2 that came in 2005 is a primary example that used almost 70 to 80% was done only by using Python for that game. Other than that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the one we saw next use Python a little bit since they more moved into a proprietary software in the recent years. But the concept of OOPS will be implemented by Python only. Last but not the least, I would like to thank every one of you for taking part in this session. This is just a giveaway video. Enjoy. Also, one more thing. Before you go, I would like to have your suggestions and feedback in the comment section in the website so that we can further enhance our content and make it more interesting. I hope this session helps you. Enjoy.